It is March. Of course, we told you about the buzzer beater that'll send Chattanooga to the NCAA tournament. David Jean-Baptiste hitting one from just inside half court to beat Furman tonight by 1 in overtime. March Madness got underway over the weekend. Murray State wins the OVC men's tournament. On the women's side, Belmont cuts down the nets for the 6th time in 7 years. Bart Brooks and his team headed back to the NCAA tournament, and the head coach and a couple of the players nice enough to stop in studio last night for the Electric Power Company Sunday Sports Central. Let's take a listen. So much better news for the Belmont women's basketball team. OVC champions once again, and we're joined in studio by the champs, head coach Bart Brooks, and two of his all-conference performers, two sophomores, Madison Bartley and Tootie Jones. Thanks for being here. Congratulations. You guys have done this a few times now. You did it last year. You do it again this year. Tootie, how did it feel yesterday to cut down the nets once again?
I have to say it felt really good. I can say we were all pretty excited going into the game and going into the tournament alone, so it felt really good to come away with the win. Madison,
it is always a challenge to win a championship, but yesterday you were in a tight ball game in the third quarter. You actually trailed 19-17, and from that point on, you outscored Tennessee Tech 34-10. What changed?
Our energy and what we brought on the court changed automatically. In the beginning of the first half, we were struggling to make shots, and we came out with the mentality that we were able to do it, and we stopped them on defense, and that brought us energy on offense.
Bart, you win a championship by holding your opponent to 29 points for the game and 17% shooting. They say defense wins championships. That was literal yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty impressive performance by our team. It really was. It was not something I expected at all. Like I said it yesterday a couple times. If you'd have said 29 points, I'd have figured that was a halftime score, because Tennessee Tech was really talented and a really difficult opponent to guard. But credit to these young ladies. They played an unbelievably good game. You know, there was a lot of things that they did on the fly on their own that allowed us to continue to get stops when we struggled scoring. And then once the ball started going through the basket, you know, the lid came off and we created some separation. It was a beautiful thing as a coach to see our team locked in like we were.
It was a big-time performance in a championship game, but this season, like all, has had its ups and downs. You really challenged an experienced squad coming back with a difficult schedule early. You started 4-5. You lost 2 games in a row in conference play at one point, but here you are now, winners of 12 in a row. How much has this team grown to where they are right now?
The growth has been, from a coach's point of view, the journey is the most important and the most enjoyable part of this. But man, we have been on a journey with a lot of peaks and a lot of valleys. And you know, the early season, we challenged our team with a really difficult non-conference schedule, and in hopes that we would be able to maybe pick some of those teams off and put ourselves in a really good position, that if we did what we did here at the tournament, to be maybe a little bit higher seed in the tournament. But that didn't happen. And I think maybe the struggles that we had early kind of led into the conference season, where we weren't playing great early in the conference season either. And unbelievable pride in this group, the two young ladies sitting next to me and the rest of our team, for the resiliency, the toughness to continue to pick themselves up when we weren't playing great, and believe in what we're doing and believe in who we are as a team, stay the course. And I think, you know, these last 12 games, they haven't all been beautiful, but man, the toughness and the resiliency of this group has been special.
Madison, how much do you feel this team has grown from those mid-season woes to now where you feel like you're unbeatable when you walk on the court?
When I walk on with the team right now, it just feels like we have this connection, and it's so hard to explain. But when you're with a team that's like your family, and you just walk on that court and you know, like, they have my back, and no matter what, like, we got this, it's a great feeling to have, and something that I carry strong in my heart.
Tootie, you're both just sophomores. Destiny Wells, who was the tournament MVP, also a sophomore. But there's experience on this team, too, and all of you have experienced championship basketball before. When that's ingrained in the culture like it is at Belmont, how much does that help the belief?
I think it helps a lot. Like you said, we're only sophomores, so we have some older people we can look up to, and you know, they set the expectation that we're going to win championships, we're going to win games. So I think we just all have the same mindset.
All right, let's go to the locker room from yesterday after the game. Bart, you run in there. And what happens here exactly when you're running it through right in there and they just douse you? What's going on there?
Well, I've been fortunate and blessed to have done that 4 times now in my 5 years at Belmont. And my first couple of years, I went in unarmed. And I paid for it. So I had a couple of bottles of water in my hands, and I was going to get someone because I knew I was going to get got. But I think really what the video is going to show is they really enjoyed it. There was maybe some evil intentions with some of them squirting me in the face there at the end, but there's nothing like those.
They had more ammo than you. I just want to point that out.
There was a lot more of them, and I noticed my staff didn't follow me. They stayed back, so I was a lone soldier in there. But no, those moments with your team, you know, what happens on the floor and the nets are great. But I tell you what, the things that I treasure most is the moments we share as a team together, usually behind the scenes. And it's great to have a camera in there to capture it because it's special. But yeah, that was a lot colder than it looks too.
And ladies, how much do you appreciate that? Those moments behind the scenes, but also the fact that you have a coach who's willing to really get in there and be a part of it with you.
I think it's nice, you know, this is one of the games that we make sure we want to win just because we know we can win up the coaches. It's a big part of the deal. So, yeah, we really look forward to that part.
Madison, you got good shots in yesterday?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, me and Tessa definitely planned that bucket, that whole bucket. We wanted one, and we got the managers to get us a big one that was full so that he was completely soaked on the end of it.
Bart, we talked about some of the excellence and the honors of the 2 young ladies sitting next to you. When you talk about Madison, though, what has her growth been like this season from last season to really becoming a dominant post player in your league and beyond?
Yeah, the talent was there. I mean, we recruited the talent, and what she's able to do on the floor. I wish we could take credit for it, but that's her and the work that she's put in. When she got here, she had that. I think last year was so disrupted. We didn't get a normal preseason. We didn't have normal practices. We didn't get to work on the repetition of consistency that we got this year. And I think her jump in production and what she's done on the floor for us this year is largely a result of her just being able to be on the floor longer together with the team that she's playing with, and the consistency of having practice and having a preseason, having a year with our strength coach. All that stuff has played into that. So she's an unbelievably talented young lady, and I think that I can't wait to get to play someone really good in the NCAA tournament, because I can't wait to match up with some of these bigger guys, because I think our big guys are just as good.
Madison, you mentioned your water bucket partner, Tessa Miller, who's a freshman who also plays inside with you. How much does she push you to make you better? And Bart, to have 2 bigs like that, what kind of a luxury is that for a coach like yourself?
Yeah.
Madison, start off.
Yeah.
I definitely think that me and Tessa push each other every day, especially in preseason. We got at it a couple of times, but when we're on the court, we just push each other and we go at it 24/7. But I know that when we get off, we are all cool and we're great friends. So I think it's great to have another post player that has that mentality to know that, like, we push each other no matter what. And if we get in a fight a little bit, it's okay. But off the court, that we're good and we're going to stay like that.
Yeah, I mean, those 2 have been, they've been huge for us in that we know that we've got someone on the bench. No matter, Madison has had a tendency to put her hand in a cookie jar a couple of games and get in foul trouble, and to have Tessa in off the bench, that we don't miss anything with our size, with our physicality. They're different players, play a little bit different style, but I tell you what, defensively, I think we have been really good defensively because of these 2 in the middle. They've blocked a ton of shots for us. They protect the paint, they rebound the ball for us, and they've just been a huge presence. And to have 2 of them, that's an unbelievable asset for a coach.
2D first team all conference. You're also the OVC Defensive Player of the Year. Defense doesn't always get the limelight, but how important is it to you? How much of an emphasis is it in your game?
I think it plays a big role in my game. That's been instilled in me from a young age, playing with my mom back in high school, that, defense wins games. So I think everybody on the team has a role, and we're all good at different things, and we, impact each other in the game, playing our role. So I just think that it takes defense, and we do a good job playing together.
You said everybody on the team has a role, and yesterday, 8 of the 9 players who played scored. It was truly a team effort in a championship. How nice is it to know that whoever walks on the floor, you can count on to give you a contribution?
It's so nice, and I think that that's one of the reasons why we're so good, because we have so many different players that are good at so many different things. So, you know, if one player isn't doing something right, then we have 4 other players that can come in and, you know, help us out in that area. And, you know, I think that's, like I said, a big reason of how we're so good.
Bart, you were led yesterday by Destiny Wells, tournament MVP, who had 22 points, hit some huge shots as you pulled away in the third quarter. I'm going to say it because I know you won't. She should have been the OVC Player of the Year for the regular season, but she had her coming out party in this event last year. How much does she lead you in those critical moments when you need the big shot?
It's unbelievably reassuring as a coach to know the ball is going to be in her hands to make the decision at the end of a game. And you know, like we've talked about all year, it's not always. Yesterday it was to score. That's how we were being defended, and she has a great feel for how to use her quickness, where she's not always fast. She has great pace and change of tempo. And yesterday it was a day for her to score, and she scored. And there's been games this year where, you know, she needs to facilitate, and she's had multiple 10-assist games this year as well. So to put the ball in a player's hands who can make the right play for her team, who's a great teammate, I think that's an unbelievable feeling for me as a coach. I get to sit back and watch it like everyone else.
Ladies, for both of you, last year you made history by becoming the first Belmont women's team to win an NCAA tournament game. What was that experience like, and how much is it motivating to go back and get more and do even more this year?
I think that it was just a great experience. It was like so surreal, honestly. Standing on that court when that buzzer hit and just like staring at my team and the parents and the coaches and the joy that came off of our faces after that game is something that I'll never forget, but it's also something that we want to do again. And so we're going to work extremely hard to make that little dream of us come true.
Tootie, a year ago when your teammates were in that exact same chair, I was asking the question, what would it mean to be the first Belmont team to do that? That was always the goal. You get there, now you got to win a game. Well, now you've won a game. So what's the realistic goal that you all are talking about now?
We just want to win more games. You know, we've talked about how success isn't defined by certain things, but we want to win as many games as we can, and we want to continue to get better. So that's our main goal.
And Bart, you said yesterday after winning the championship that you're not scared of anybody. You're ready to go play anybody at this point in time. How much do you think the journey this season, a word you used, has hardened this team and prepared them for whatever you face in a couple of weeks?
Well, the schedule we played, you know, the really difficult non-conference schedule we played, those games were on the road. The large majority of them, and they were in difficult environments, and we were in those games. You know, there were only 2 games that we really, I don't think, had a great chance to win in the fourth quarter, but the rest of them, it was a one possession game going into the media timeout in the fourth quarter. That's the place you want to be as a coach. So going through that, understanding what it takes to get to that place, going through our struggles throughout the rest of the year, but then now getting to a place of confidence and collective synergy with our group. I think we all feel that we're in a different place, and we're a different team than the teams that you know, when we played early in the season and lost some of those close games. So I can't wait for this group to get a chance to go play someone else who's really good, and, you know, depending on the seeding, it could be on someone's home floor. We're ready for that. I think we have 10 road wins this year. I think there's maybe 3 or 4 teams in the country who have more than that, and so that's we're prepared for it. Whatever we see, we're going to be prepared for it.
Well, I promise you, no one wants to see Belmont pop up on the line opposite them in the bracket right now the way you are playing. Ladies, Bart, congratulations and